Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen and today I wanted to talk about tips for new moms. So I'm a first-time mom and I wanted to talk about just a few things that I learned along the way. My son is 6 months old. His name is Mac, and if you are pregnant right now or you are just recently had a baby, hopefully these will help you out. And if you just recently had a baby or you are pregnant right now, congratulations. And yeah, let's get into it. So these are all tips for the first few months. So the first few months are kind of crazy. You're figuring out how to take care of a baby, especially if you're a first-time mom, figuring out how to take care of yourself, which is, hard to figure out alone without having to take care of a baby. And you're still trying to figure out how to do all the other normal things that you would do in your house or your apartment. Do the dishes, do laundry. If you have animals, take care of them, like take your dog for a walk. How do you do that? How do you cook dinner? That's why I wanted to make this video, because I hope that these little things will make your life easier. That was sort of the goal. I had to step back and take a second and say, okay, what do I need to do that makes me feel more like me or more like myself? Because your life is so radically changing in a super awesome, crazy, cool way. But at the same time, you're kind of wanting to hold on to something also that makes you feel normal and stable as everything around you in your life is changing. So that's why I wanted to make this video for moms so that this will help you out. So one thing that I found that helped me was I would find little tiny things that brought me joy. So one thing I did was I would paint my nails. That's something that I would do. It relaxed me. It was just something that I love to do. And then you have super cool painted nails. So one thing that I would say to do is to shower or take a bath. So you're so busy that you can really go for a couple of days without showering. You're so busy and you're so tired. So those two things, that combination together, that can, prevent you from showering for a couple of days. And the longest I've gone without showering was maybe 5 days. And in the moment, you're like, oh no, I'd rather sleep. I'd rather do this. But I would say every single time I showered, I was like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I'm like a new woman. And so then I would always say, why do I not make this a priority more often? So essentially I try now to shower at least every other day because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel fresh and clean. And I think that's one thing you really need to figure out, how to take care of yourself while you're learning to take care of your baby. So that's kind of the tricky thing there. One thing that I did that I would suggest to other first-time moms or to moms is to buy yourself a couple pairs of super comfy, cozy pajamas, or nice pajamas, a matching cute pajama set. I normally don't sleep and stuff like that, but I wanted to get something that made myself feel good, because a lot of the time you are wearing pajamas, and so you don't want to wear a big old t-shirt all day. You want to wear something cute. And so I would suggest that. Or also, if pajamas aren't your thing, get a comfy robe. I got a few different robes that I wore a lot. So I think that is something that you're going to want to invest in. Another tip, one thing I started doing, I think I started doing this when Mac was about a month old, is I started to pick one day a week where I would leave the baby with my husband and I would go out and get coffee. I would go out, leave for a little while. I would turn the music up in my car really loud, drive around, sing at the top of my lungs, and it felt great. I mean, I think just those little steps made my life feel more normal. And so I really enjoyed to do that. And I would go out, I would go get coffee, I would bring coffee back. And it was something that I would look forward to. I would say, oh, like tomorrow's my day that I go get coffee. Yeah, I would totally suggest that to you, to pick a time, or, even if it's just like 20 minutes going out. If coffee is not your thing, go to CVS. I know it's hard right now. You can't really go a lot of places. Or just go for a drive in your car, go for a walk. Just little things where you can kind of get a moment to be alone, I think is important. Even though if you don't feel like you need it, in the long run, I think it does make a difference, it's a positive thing. So I would suggest that, and you might enjoy it. So I did. Another tip along to go with the showering is, so I'm not suggesting this every day, because don't get me wrong, I did not get dressed or put my makeup on for not very much in the first few months. Yeah. So, but when you feel able to, and you feel like you have the energy to get dressed, do your hair, put makeup on, I would suggest to do it. At least maybe try doing it like once a week. That was something that always made me feel a little bit more normal. It made me feel better, made me feel a little bit like, I got this. And I would suggest to do that. Another tip that I tried to do, and this is much more for like the very, very beginning, when you can't do much. I had a C-section, so I really couldn't do much, really. So my thing was to have little goals. So, and they were very little goals. So one goal would be to shower that day. That would be a goal. Maybe the next day would be, my goal is to, put away my laundry. That was a goal. So little tiny goals, things like that. Organize a drawer for the baby, things like that. Little tiny things that you're kind of in this cycle in the very beginning of taking care of the baby. So they're eating, they're sleeping, you're changing their diaper, you're feeding them, and it's kind of a revolving thing. And so when you can fit little things in and make little goals, that was what was helpful for me. And so, yeah, and it also doesn't have to be like chores type stuff. Some goals were like, call my friend tonight, when the baby goes to bed. Make a cake today, because that would be fun, or make cookies, things like that. So I would make like a little goal or activity each day to make sure I made time to do that. So hopefully that will be helpful. One thing that I wanted to suggest too, which I figured out probably around month 1 to 2 months, was once you enter into the world of babyhood, I'm a first-time mom, so this was all very new to me, is the music for babies is very different than like the music you normally would listen to. So you don't realize it until you've been doing it for like a few weeks or a month, and you're like, my God, I've been listening to this music for, like, what am I listening to? So I would have like one earbud in my ear, and I would listen to podcasts, I would listen to music, playlists I would make. I listened to a lot of like YouTube playlists, and it was something that really changes your day. And it kind of, depending on whatever podcast you're listening to, it kind of makes you feel more like you know what's going on. You're more, not so much in that baby land, baby head. You kind of are like, oh, like listening to normal people talking about, normal stuff, not just baby stuff. And that's kind of nice. So that I would suggest to do. I wish I had done that from the beginning, because it made me feel more normal at the end of the day. So one thing that I would suggest besides going for a walk, also, I would suggest doing something like For me, I started going for walks, and then I was very slow for the exercise because for me, having a C-section, it was very hard to kind of move around. Your incision is very sensitive. So depending on whatever your birthing situation was, adjust to what works for you. But for me, I walked first. And then I started doing yoga actually probably January 1st because I started a yoga challenge that started on January 1st. And I felt like I was ready. So Mac was September, October, November, December. So he was like 4 months at that time. So it had been about 4 months since I had given birth, and I felt ready. And it still was weird, laying on your stomach, things like that. I don't know, but it felt really good. Even though I didn't do it every day, it felt really good to get back into it. And I would suggest that find an activity that you used to do or that you find like a very low impact activity and try that. Make it a priority too. So at night when the baby goes to bed, make sure you make time for things like that. And sometimes it's hard and sometimes you can't. You just don't have the time. I also work full time, and so you don't have a lot of time. And so your time is very precious, especially at night. So you kind of do have to make decisions to be like, okay, am I going to do this or am I going to do yoga? And sometimes I would have to do stuff I didn't want to do. But sometimes I would say, you know what, no, go for a walk or do my yoga. And, I always felt better and when I did that. So make yourself the priority. That's the key. One thing that I do that I have done for many years, probably about 10 years, I've been using essential oils. I would totally suggest that. They're very inexpensive and depending on the brand, and I love them. You can put them in your pocket, carry them with you wherever you're going, put them on your wrist or behind your ear, doing different scents like lavender, peppermint. So I would suggest that. I found it helpful, and they're kind of like a very low impact scent. So I found with the baby, I could kind of put a tiny bit on my wrist and I didn't feel like I was like spraying, my perfume all over me, and that my, baby would be like drenched in perfume or something like that. And so I kind of just would dab a little bit of that on me, and it's actually very calming, and I love essential oils, so I totally recommend that. And my last tip is to not worry about what you are eating in the very beginning. I know after you give birth, it is going to be shocking to you what your body looks like. And even though you kind of have an idea how things are going to go, it's a little bit shocking once everything's done. And so you're going to want to feel like, oh, I want to get back to my body and how it used to be. Or you might not, but you might. And so you might feel like, I should be eating salads, I should be eating healthy. Oh gosh, what should I be doing? And I would say in the very beginning, you have so much going on and so much, more important things to be thinking about. And I would say to not worry about that yet. I would put that aside, and I would give yourself time to relax, heal, figure out what's happening in your life, figure out what you're doing and taking care of a baby. And then at this point, so in the beginning, I was talking to my husband about this. I ate a French toast bagel from Whole Foods every single day. And I looked forward to it. I was pumped about it. My husband would make it for me in the morning every day, and I would have tea or coffee and my bagel. And I was every single day. And I was saying to him, I was like, well, I was counting. I was thinking about it. I was like, if I had a bagel every day for 3 months, that means I was like, that means that I ate 100 bagels in the beginning. after I had Mac, and I was like, oh my God. So now I'm at the point, he's 6 months old now, that I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start focusing on that aspect of things postpartum. And so I now don't have the bagels anymore, but don't beat yourself up if you want to have a bagel or whatever it is, you know, burgers, ice cream, whatever. You know, especially in the beginning, you know, treat yourself because you've just done a lot and been through a lot. So I'm telling you, you will, it's the last thing that you need to worry about. And just eat, be happy, be with your baby, and enjoy yourself, and have things that make you happy, and put things in the house that you can grab and go. Muffins, croissants, things like that, that you can just grab as you are with the baby or someone can bring to you. I think that will be helpful. All right, guys, I hope you found this helpful and you found a few tips in there that you could use. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. All right, bye, guys.